Have you ever wondered why some people seem to draw attention without even trying? Why a room shifts subtly when you walk in, though no one says it out loud? You feel it sometimes, don't you? That strange pull in the air, the lingering glance, the sudden warmth in someone's voice when they talk to you. You tell yourself it's nothing. You look away. You convince yourself you imagined it. But deep down, you've always known there's something different about you, something you can't quite name, something they feel before they even understand it. It's not about looks. It's not about charm. It's not about what you wear or how perfectly you speak. It's something quieter, something that moves beneath the surface, because real attraction isn't loud, it's magnetic. It's the kind that can't be taught, can't be faked, and can't be hidden no matter how much you try. You felt overlooked before, ignored, maybe even underestimated. But what if I told you that very feeling, the one that made you doubt your worth, is the same reason you stand out? The same reason people can't stop thinking about you, even if they never say it. You see, the people who captivate others the most aren't the ones who demand attention. They're the ones who create presence, the ones who move through the world with a quiet certainty that whispers instead of shouts. You don't always notice it happening, the way someone's laughter changes when you're near, the way their body turns slightly toward you, unconsciously seeking your energy. It's not manipulation, it's resonance. A frequency only some people carry, the kind that says, without words, I know who I am. You might not believe this about yourself. You might think you're too reserved, too guarded, too quiet. But that restraint is what makes you unforgettable. In a world obsessed with being seen, you hold power and mystery. You make others curious. They want to know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what it would take to break through your calm exterior. That's the secret. They feel drawn to you because you don't need them to. You move through life like you've already found your center, and that balance pulls people in like gravity. Think about it. When everyone else is trying to prove something, to impress, to convince, you simply exist. That's confidence on a different level, the kind that doesn't need to speak to be heard. You're not trying to be desirable, you just are. Because you don't chase attention, you create fascination. You don't follow trends, you define them by not caring. You don't talk about what you'll do, you show it in silence, in your presence, in the way you hold eye contact without flinching. It's the kind of energy that says, I could have anyone, but I choose peace instead. And that's irresistible. There's a power in being grounded, a rare strength in knowing your worth so deeply that the world starts to reflect it back at you. When you stop needing validation, something shifts. You start noticing how people respond differently, how they listen closer, how they soften around you. You start realizing you've been holding the key the whole time, the key to being unforgettable. Not because of what you try to be, but because of what you already are. It's not arrogance, it's alignment, it's the understanding that attraction isn't built on effort, it's built on energy, on the way you walk, the tone of your voice, the quiet assurance that you are enough even when no one is watching. You don't need to announce it, you live it. And that presence changes everything. So if you've ever wondered why some people look at you a little longer, why conversations linger a little too long, it's not coincidence, it's awareness. They feel what you're still learning to see, that your calm is magnetic, your mystery intoxicating, your energy unforgettable. You don't have to perform, you don't have to prove, you just have to remember. Because the truth is, you've always had it. That quiet pull, that invisible gravity. You've always been the person who leaves an impression long after you're gone. Not because you said too much, but because you said just enough to make them wonder who you really are. And once they start wondering, they never really stop. What if the very things you've been told to hide are the same things that make you magnetic? The way you think too deeply, the way you feel too much, the way you notice details others miss. You've spent years dimming that light, afraid it would make you stand out for the wrong reasons. But it's that quiet depth, that calm awareness that draws people to you, even when you're not trying. Every time you walk into a room, people sense it. They don't know why they look again, they just do. You leave a mark without meaning to. And the truth is, you always have. You carry something people crave but rarely find: authenticity. Not the kind that's loud or performative, but the kind that feels like truth. In a world full of masks, your honesty is dangerous. It disarms people. It makes them feel safe and exposed all at once. They sense your strength, but they also sense your peace. That combination is rare, and everyone is instinctively drawn to it. It's not something you can fake. It's something that grows from all the times you've been broken, rebuilt, and chose not to harden. That softness you tried to hide, it's your superpower. Because while others chase admiration, you offer understanding, and that's what makes people fall without even realizing why. You've been through moments that changed you, times when you were overlooked, rejected, forgotten. But every one of those moments taught you something no one else could learn for you. You learned patience when others demanded attention. You learned silence when others filled space with noise. You learned how to stand alone. And that's what makes you unstoppable now. People feel that history in you. They can sense the depth behind your eyes. It's not just attraction, it's recognition. They see in you the strength they wish they had, the calm they can't find in themselves. And that's why they can't forget you. The danger is in forgetting it yourself. Forgetting how far you've come. Forgetting that your stillness isn't weakness, it's control. You've mastered the art of not needing to prove anything, and that scares people who live for validation. But it inspires those who are ready to rise. You are proof that power doesn't need to roar, it just needs to exist. Quietly, confidently, unshakably. And when you start owning that again, when you stop questioning your worth and start walking like you already know, it changes everything. The world begins to respond differently. Doors open, eyes follow, hearts race. Because confidence without arrogance is rare, and peace wrapped in strength is irresistible. You don't need to chase approval. You don't need to convince anyone to see your value. Your presence already speaks louder than any words could. Every time you doubt yourself, remember this: people are already drawn to you. They already feel it. They just mirror the energy you give them. The moment you stop second-guessing your light, you give them permission to step closer. The moment you stop apologizing for your silence, you turn it into intrigue. The moment you stop hiding your depth, you become unforgettable. Time is moving faster than you think. Every minute spent doubting yourself is a minute you could have been living in full power. There's no tomorrow waiting for permission. There's only now. The version of you that has been quietly waiting to emerge isn't somewhere in the future. It's here, buried under layers of hesitation. It's time to strip them away, to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs your truth, your energy, your presence. That's the real gift. So stop wondering if you're enough. You are. Stop holding back your words, your fire, your intuition. Let people feel the full force of who you are. Let them experience the gravity you've been pretending doesn't exist. Because when you finally embrace it, when you stop running from your own light, you'll realize something powerful. Every woman who's ever crossed your path, every person who's ever felt that spark around you, they weren't imagining it. They were responding to the real you. And the moment you see it too, the world won't be able to look away. Every person you've ever met has felt your energy before they heard your words. That's the truth you've ignored for too long. You've been walking through life unaware of the quiet storm you carry, the gravity that shifts the room the moment you arrive. You've been taught to shrink it, to question it, to stay small enough not to make others uncomfortable. But power isn't something you hide to make the world feel safe. Power is something you use to make the world wake up, and it's time you stopped apologizing for it. You've been waiting for a sign, for the right moment to claim the life that's been calling to you. But waiting has only kept you still while the world moves. You don't need more time. You need a decision, a moment where you say, enough, enough of doubting, enough of holding back, enough of pretending you're not meant for more. Because deep down, you already know you are. You feel it in your chest when you're quiet. That pull, that restlessness, it's not anxiety, it's potential begging to be unleashed. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to disrupt, to lead, to move differently. You were meant to be the person people remember long after you've gone. The one whose words echo in silence, whose presence changes direction, whose calm makes others believe they can be more. Every time you second-guess yourself, you betray that purpose. Every time you play small, you teach others it's okay to forget their own power. You were built to be more than comfortable. You were built to be unforgettable. Think about how many times you've silenced your instincts, how many times you've said yes when you wanted to say no. Every one of those moments chipped away at the person you were meant to become. But that version of you isn't gone. It's still there, waiting beneath the hesitation. You can feel it every time you catch your reflection and wonder if this is all there is. It's not. You're not tired because you've done too much. You're tired because you've resisted your own truth. The moment you stop fighting it, everything changes. There is nothing more magnetic than a person who finally remembers their worth. People can sense it. It's in the way you walk, the way you breathe, the way you carry yourself when you stop begging for permission. Confidence isn't pretending to be fearless. It's being honest enough to act despite the fear. That's what people feel when they look at you. That's why they can't explain the pull. You radiate something that can't be taught. And when you finally start believing that, you'll notice how quickly the world rearranges itself around you. You've been chasing validation when you were built to command respect. You've been waiting for someone to choose you when you were meant to choose yourself. The people you admire, they're not better than you. They just stopped asking for approval. They stopped letting fear drive their story. You can do the same right now. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need a choice. To stop standing in the shadows of your own potential. You've been the quiet force for too long. It's time to become the storm. Every great shift begins with a moment of defiance, the moment you decide that your comfort is no longer worth your peace, that your silence is no longer worth your truth, that living half alive is no longer acceptable. This is that moment. You don't need permission to rise, you only need the courage to start. Because once you do, the world won't be able to look away. They'll feel your presence before they even see you. They'll hear your voice without you speaking a word. You already have everything you need, the strength, the vision, the fire. It's all there waiting for you to claim it. You are not behind. You are not late. You are right where you're supposed to be, the edge between who you were and who you're becoming. Step forward. Don't wait for the right moment. Create it. The life that's meant for you isn't somewhere out there. It's waiting for you to believe, to act, to rise. Because the moment you do, the world will finally meet the version of you it's been waiting for. This is the part where everything inside you starts to wake up. That quiet hum in your chest, the one you've been ignoring. It's not noise. It's the sound of your potential screaming to be heard. You've spent too long surviving, too long pretending you're fine while your dreams gather dust. You've mastered patience, but patience is not peace when it's built on silence. The world has tried to tame you, to mold you into something smaller, quieter, easier to understand, but you were never meant to be simple. You were meant to be seen, to be felt, to shift the air when you speak. Every person who ever doubted you gave you something more powerful than approval. They gave you fire. You learned how to stand without applause, how to move without being told, how to keep walking even when no one believed you could. That kind of resilience can't be taught. It's earned in the shadows, in the moments you almost gave up but didn't. And now, that strength you built in silence is the very thing that will make people stop and pay attention. Because strength built from pain carries a truth that can't be faked. You have to understand something. Your life doesn't change when things get easier. It changes when you decide you're done living below your own potential. That's the real turning point, not luck, not timing, decision. The second you stop asking what if it doesn't work and start asking what if it does, everything shifts. Fear doesn't disappear, but it loses power. Doubt doesn't vanish, but it stops driving. Because nothing is stronger than a person who finally decides to stop waiting and start becoming. You're standing on the edge of everything you've ever wanted. And the only thing keeping you from it is hesitation. The stories in your head that whisper, you're not ready. You are. You've been ready. You're just afraid of how powerful it will feel once you let go of everything holding you back. But that's the moment that changes everything. The moment you stop hesitating and start trusting yourself completely. When you stop seeking signs and realize you are the sign. That's when people start seeing you differently. That's when opportunity finds you. That's when the universe stops testing you and starts moving with you. Every person you admire started exactly where you are, unsure, scared, waiting for permission that never came. The difference is, they chose to move anyway. They chose to believe in the version of themselves that existed only in their imagination, long before the world could see it. That's what you must do now. Believe first, act anyway. Because waiting for confidence before you begin is how dreams die quietly. You don't need to feel ready to take the first step. You need to take the first step to feel ready. You owe it to yourself to stop living like your life is a rehearsal. This is it, the real thing. Every hour you spend second guessing is a moment you could have been building something extraordinary. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards action. You can either keep imagining who you could become, or you can start becoming them. And once you do, everything around you starts aligning with that energy. People start treating you differently. Doors start opening. Because the universe doesn't give power to those who wait, it gives it to those who move. There's a version of you waiting on the other side of fear. They don't doubt. They don't apologize. They don't shrink to fit. They command every space they enter because they finally understand their own value. That's the person you've been chasing, but they've been inside you all along. You just needed the courage to bring them forward. And the moment you do, you'll realize no one was ever your competition. The only thing standing in your way was hesitation. This is your moment to rise. Not tomorrow, not when you have more time, not when it feels safe, now. Because if you keep waiting for the perfect moment, you'll miss the moment that could have made everything perfect. Your power doesn't come from what you've lost. It comes from what you're still capable of becoming. The world doesn't need another person pretending to be fearless. It needs someone brave enough to step forward despite the fear. That someone is you. And the second you accept that truth, you'll never be overlooked again. You've already felt the shift beginning. That pull inside you that refuses to stay quiet any longer. It's not restlessness, it's awakening. Every cell in your body knows you're built for more than this version of your life. You've spent years convincing yourself to wait, to be patient, to stay in the background until the timing felt right. But the truth is, there is no right time. There's only now. Every moment you hesitate, you train your mind to believe that fear deserves more power than purpose. And it doesn't. Fear has never built anything worth keeping. It's courage that does. The kind of courage that burns quietly at first and then takes over everything in its path. You've been through enough to know that nothing changes until you do. Life doesn't hand breakthroughs to the careful. It rewards the bold. The ones who decide that uncertainty isn't a reason to stop, but a reason to go faster. The ones who choose to move, even when their legs are shaking. That's how transformation begins. Not with confidence, but with motion. You can't think your way into power. You have to walk into it, step by step, choice by choice, until the person you used to be can't even recognize you anymore. Somewhere along the way, you started believing you needed permission to rise, that someone else had to see your worth before you could. But that's not how it works. The world mirrors what you believe about yourself. When you walk like you belong, it rearranges to make room for you. When you speak like your voice matters, people start listening. The shift isn't external, it's internal. The moment you stop asking why me and start saying why not me is the moment everything changes. Because power isn't something you find, it's something you claim. Every person who has ever inspired you once stood where you are right now, facing the same doubt, hearing the same voice whispering that they weren't enough. The difference is, they didn't let that voice decide for them. They let the fear come, but they moved anyway. That's the secret no one tells you. Bravery doesn't erase fear, it overrides it. You don't wait to feel ready, you act and the confidence catches up. You speak and the strength follows. You leap and the ground appears beneath your feet. You've been taught to chase approval when all you ever needed was alignment. You don't have to convince anyone to believe in you. You only have to believe enough for both of you. Because once you do, people will feel it. They'll feel the certainty in your presence, the weight of your conviction, the calm in your confidence. And that's what draws them in. Not perfection, not performance, presence, the quiet kind that makes the world slow down around you, the kind that turns attention into respect and curiosity into desire. Right now, the universe is waiting for your decision. Not your hesitation, not your excuses, not your reasons. It's waiting for your yes, your full yes. The one that doesn't negotiate with fear, the one that says, I'm ready even if I'm scared. Because fear doesn't mean stop, it means go anyway. Every heartbeat you feel right now is proof that you're not done yet. Proof that you still have chapters left to write, the kind that make people stop and wonder how you did it. But the truth is, you don't owe anyone the explanation. You just owe yourself the chance. The clock is ticking, but not against you, it's for you. Every second is a reminder that time is moving, with or without your permission. You can keep waiting for a sign, or you can decide to become one. You've already survived the worst parts. You've already proven you can handle the fall. So what's left to fear about the climb? This is your life, your moment, your turning point. Everything you want begins the second you stop waiting to be chosen and start choosing yourself. Because the world doesn't belong to the ones who watch. It belongs to the ones who move. And now it's your turn to move.